When you are on the go, you need your credit union to be right there with you. Hughes Federal Credit Union makes your life easier. For 60 years, Hughes has called Southern Arizona home and has given back to our community. Isn't that who you want as your financial partner?
Welcome to Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley here with Greg Hansen. GH Arizona's athletic director search enters week 2 here, and I don't know that a lot is known right now, but we both get the impression that this is going to be a relatively quick hire.
Well, Cedric Dempsey told me this needs to be wrapped up by the Final Four, and now Cedric Dempsey is in charge of finding this person.
Okay, so he's setting the rules and then gets to follow the rules,
yes,
basically. Okay, so this is going to happen here at some point within the next, say, 6 or 7 weeks.
Yep.
Who do you think right now, if we're handicapping it, sort of who's the leader in the clubhouse and who's maybe a dark horse name that we don't talk about?
All right, process of elimination, Chris Del Conte out.
Okay.
Totally out.
Too expensive.
Yep.
Okay.
After that, there's going to be a dark horse at some point. I don't know. I mean, I thought the Central Michigan AD might have been, but now I don't, after studying him.
Okay.
So I think it's pretty easy. Mark Harlan, Stephanie Remp, Erica Barnes, and then a mystery guest. 3
University of Arizona graduates, 1 sitting athletic director in the group, which is Mark Harlan, who just hired Charlie Strong to replace Willie Taggart at South Florida. Erica Barnes, U of A grad, married to a U of A grad, lives walking distance from the school, is the acting athletic director. Stephanie Remp played volleyball at the U of A, worked under Jim Limegood, worked at Washington, worked at Texas A&M.
And here's an addition to her. I asked Dave Rubio about her, and he said she is righteous.
Wow.
Now, that's a great term.
Now, when a SoCal guy calls you righteous, that's good. That doesn't mean she's a religious person.
No.
No.
I mean, he is impressed by Stephanie Remp.
Okay. These are 3 people with U of A ties. Is it as simple as that? Is it as simple as go find the most qualified Wildcat and give them the job?
No, I think it's not that at all.
Okay.
I think they just, by happenstance, there are 3 very strong candidates from here.
Okay.
Everybody has to be from somewhere, right? But these 3 happen to be from Tucson.
Mm-hmm. And that eliminates some of, I think, the early sort of issues that you face, which is somebody who doesn't know Tucson. I mean, Tucson takes a little getting used to, I think, sort of culturally and from sort of a day-to-day thing. If they've all lived here before, they all know, where Speedway is. That can only help you if you're trying to hit the ground running in March.
Right. To me, the big variable is fundraising ability. Stephanie Remp, whose title has never been in a fundraising capacity, was very heavily involved in the $250 million remake of Husky Stadium. So maybe she ticks off that box.
Right, but then you look within the league a little bit too, and I'm going to keep throwing this name at you. Chris Hill is a guy who I think has a connection to Ann Weaver Hart. She has 3 degrees from the University of Utah. I know that they'd reached out to Utah throughout this process. He is a guy who helped renovate Rice-Eccles Stadium during the Olympics and really helped take some of the infrastructure that was there for the Olympics and claim it for Utah. If we're looking for somebody who can renovate a stadium, I mean, he and Stephanie Remp are at the top of the list.
If Chris Hill left there, I think people would fall over in amazement because he's been at Utah for 30 years and he's 66. He's really leaving there?
I don't know. What if it was some sort of a combination of Chris Hill until it's retirement time, and let's say that's 5 or 6 years down the road, followed immediately by Erica Hansen?
Oh, if she would sign up for that?
Right. Erica, right. I mean, to me, that would make sense. Erica Barnes. I keep calling her Erica Hansen, followed by Erica Barnes.
Well, I certainly wouldn't diminish anything about Erica Barnes Hansen / whatever. Sorry about that.
Well, and she's somebody, I mean, because here's the tricky thing. I think that they respect her and like her so much, and they see her as a future athletic director at Arizona, that you almost don't want to hire somebody who can come in here and be the AD at Arizona for the next 25 years.
Yeah, I agree with that. I remember, and you were with me, Arizona played football at Iowa 7 or 8 years ago. That whole game on the sidelines, Erica Barnes stood with Artie Marino, the owner of the Los Angeles Angels.
That's right.
That's when I first thought, she's got a big future here. They had entrusted her to work with Artie Marino.
With the biggest big fish, and a guy who at the time was not very happy with the University of Arizona.
Right. And in fact, Artie Marino hasn't been happy with the U of A because Greg Byrne was a Sun Devil.
It's fun.
And these are all little things you deal with.
Right. These are right. The new athletic director is going to have to find a way to get Artie Moreno back into the fold without diminishing Greg Byrne's legacy at Arizona.
Yeah.
The new athletic director is going to have to rebuild the stadium, convince the students to take on a student fee to pay for the stadium.
Absolutely.
May need to look for coaches in a handful of major sports. This is a big job.
It is. Every time they hire an AD, they go, "Boy, this is the most critical time at the school."
Right.
And it escalates to that every time.
Right.
Because when Greg Byrne came in, things were. Jim Limegood did a wonderful job, I think.
Right.
And so did Greg Byrne, and now the next AD has to pick it up.
Right. To me, it comes down to one big question. With all of these issues facing Arizona, can you entrust the job to somebody who has not done it before?
Yeah, there you go. And I guess Ann Weaver Hart will make that decision.
Right. If you need somebody with AD experience, we're talking in terms of reasonable hires, probably 3 or 4 guys. Harlan, I would say Hunter Yurachek at Houston.
Yeah.
John Curry at Kansas State if he doesn't take the Tennessee job.
Yeah.
And Chris Hill, somebody of his ilk.
I would be fine with Chris Hill, but I just can't imagine that happening.
Right.
But been surprised by many, many things.
Well, that'll do it for this episode of Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. For Greg Hansen, Alonzo Trier is back and Greg Byrne is gone. What the hell's going on?
Is there some kind of conspiracy going on?
It's very strange. It's very strange. I'm Ryan Finley. We'll see you next time.